You know what I'm saying? Represent Jesus. Yeah. Cause when we walk, yeah.
Hey, family. Welcome back to the channel. And welcome back to the Remnant. I mean, man, this is getting so juicy. So I found another layer and I want to make a quick video. So this is kind of going to be like a Remnant part 2. But I was Googling the ShearJashub because in the last video I made, that's what the title is, ShearJashub. But in the King James, it's spelled a little different. ShearJashub. But this specific remnant here, ShearJashub, the one that will return, is because it is of the Nazarim, and always a remnant of them will return to the fallen world. That last video was good. You should check it out. I talked about it because in the prophecy of Malachi, they also said that that remnant will return to prepare the world for the great harvest. So it's really like a twofold message about this remnant. But it says the actual ShearJashub in Isaiah chapter 7 verse 3. And they say that it means a remnant returning to God and a symbolic name which the prophet Isaiah gave to his son. And so I want to show you guys, we have in the Holy Megilah a proclamation of Isaiah. It's pretty juicy. It takes place before the flood of Noah. So Isaiah is proclaiming that there's this coming disaster. It's like a environmental Armageddon type thing that we're headed for too. And that they needed to prepare an army for Noah, and it was going to be an army of peace. So this is really telling, because in this Isaiah chapter 11, we were reading about the Nazir prophecy. Remember, this is also the chapter that Yeshua quoted from when we were reading in the Megillah. We were reading in chapter 89. Yeshua quoted from this Isaiah chapter 11. So now I'm starting to see that it's Isaiah chapter 11 is probably taken from this proclamation of Isaiah in the Megillah, because it kind of reads word for word. This is the proclamation of Isaiah, and he said here in 87, "Yea, an army of peace will be raised, an army like none the world has seen. Behold, this army, the general, will be a man of sorrows, well acquainted with grief. From the seed of Abraham and Sarah the prince comes forth, yea, conceived in the center of the tree of life. He brings the fruit of love, wisdom, and power. And those that join his holy work will have eternal life and peace." But over here, hope I don't lose anybody with this. This is where it matches up, and I'll just show you this, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the birth of Noah. Verse 7, it says that the lion shall eat straw like the ox. And over here in verse 101, it says the lions, wolves, and tigers eat straw like the ox. So there's some line for line in here. Now, we are told in the Megillah that this Isaiah chapter 11 was the Messiah of peace prophecy, and now I see in the proclamation of Isaiah, it was about the army of peace, and it was a prophecy that was fulfilled, because when all these animals came together and were doing this, this was in the army of Noah. If you don't know the story of Noah, you're missing out, and I don't have all the time to kind of like recap it, but in the book of Noah, of the Holy Megilah, Isaiah is the grandfather and teacher of Noah, but we're also told that Abraham and Sarah came to earth and birthed his body, and then a woman, she raised him, and the woman's father was Isaiah. So Isaiah became like the adopted grandfather of Noah. But Isaiah was somebody, he was the Yair of the Nasarean nation at that time. And when Noah got of age, Isaiah said he was going out to become a preacher. And he was going to die preaching. And I don't mean to laugh, but it's such a good story, and it brings you joy. And Noah became the Yair. And Noah was the crown prince, so his name was Isaac before he was born. That's what this tells us, the book of Noah. And so this is amazing that this is the Messiah of peace prophecy that Yeshua picked and all that. You have to watch all of my last like 10 videos to really know what I'm talking about. If you're just coming on right now, I apologize. You might get lost. But in this book of Noah, it tells us that so Abraham and Sarah came secretly to earth and conceived a baby, for the soul of Isaac would need to incarnate in human flesh. In the moment of conception, riding on a sunbeam, the soul of Isaac left the sun. The sunbeam became the rainbow bridge and took him to earth, and the soul of Isaac entered the humble body of a human embryo. There's something else, because you guys know there's a fragment from a book of Noah I read a long time ago. And when I read this story about the baby Isaac riding on a sunbeam, the soul of Isaac left the sun, and the sunbeam became the rainbow bridge and took him to the earth. I remember that in this fragment of this book of Noah, it's from 1917, y'all. This is what was said of Noah when he was born. His body was white as snow and red as the blooming of a rose, and the hair of his head and his long locks were white as wool, and his eyes beautiful. And when he opened his eyes, he lighted up the whole house like the sun, and the whole house was very bright. And thereupon he arose, and in the hands of the midwife he opened his mouth and conversed with the Lord of righteousness. And his father Lamech was afraid of him, and fled, and came to his father Methuselah, and said unto him, I have begotten a strange son, diverse from like any man, and resembling the sons of the God of heaven. And his nature is different, and he is not like us. And his eyes are as the rays of the sun, and his countenance is glorious. And it seems to me that he has not sprung from me, but from the angels. And so this was Lamech sending his father to go ask Enoch what was up with this Noah. And it did end up telling him that he was blessed and that there was going to be a great work that came through him. So, but that's from that fragment. And now I got a whole nother witness about how special Noah was. He was the crown prince from the seventh heaven. Anyway, that's what this proclamation of Isaiah is about. And I think that this also what this Isaiah chapter 11 was about. And I'm not going to say too much more. I just wanted to show you guys what I was thinking and doing over here real quick. Really checking this out on another level and seeing that this pattern has been repeated many times, even on this world alone. So rest assured, the naturals are going to do their thing. And because even in this story of Noah, his army that was why it said this about these animals. The birds of the sky shall be his eyes, and the sprites of the forest his ears. In this army the wolves of the hills will serve as trumpets, and will give their lives to protect lambs. Yea, the tiger lies down with the goat, and the cow and the bear are friends, and their young play together. And in this army, them that ate one another now feed one another. Them that mistrust one another depend on one another. Them that together fell, together rise. The lions, wolves, and tigers eat straw like the ox. And the baby conceived in the tree leads them. So that is key, telling you that it was Isaac, because he was conceived in the tree of life. You got to read your Megillah so you know the whole story. But that was this here, word for word. I don't know why I had Matthew open. I'm supposed to be showing you Isaiah. But that was this here about the cow and the bear shall feed, the young one shall lie down together, the lion shall eat straw like the ox, even up here the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, the calf, the young lion, the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them. That's talking about Isaac. But it left out the tree part. See, the baby conceived in the tree leads them. But it left it out right here, but it told us something right here with branch. Because remember, this is a special kind of branch. This was an olive branch, a shoot that springs up years later from where the original tree. This is how this guy said it. This is a very specific type of branch. It comes from an olive tree. Olive trees are fascinating. They live for thousands of years. That's where this word Nazir, it's a shoot from an olive tree that unexpectedly springs up years later and far away from the original tree. So Isaac was conceived in the tree of life, and then he was born as Noah to be this general of this army of peace. It does call him the general right here. It does say that the general will be a man of sorrows, well acquainted with grief. You got to get familiar with the story of Noah, because in the story of Noah, he lost his family, his wife, and his children like over and over and over again, while he still hadn't remembered who he was. That's what the Sa'ara told us. It was such a great sacrifice, because it is a great risk to leave a higher world for a lower world. So they do call it the great sacrifice. But I just wanted to show you that and in Isaiah chapter 7, we got this ShearJashub. We have a witness to this remnant priesthood of the Lord and the Lady, the revealed arm, because this was the Nazarim, this remnant that always will return. All right.
Here we go. I wanted to die, my sleep, that's what I used to say. But now I wanna die, my feet battle demons, I pray for the strength to survive, the will to be alive.